So if I'm going in on an interview for any type of skill set, you want to probably go and look up interview questions. Number one. Secondly, you just want to probably take that opportunity to, prepare yourself. Look at each job description bullet point, and then speak to your past experience with that bullet point. Okay. So let's go and let me go do that right quick for y'all, so y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like, what does he mean? Because you guys probably had never done that before, so I want to show y'all. Because you can do it. It's just something you got to do, learn to do, right? So if we go SQL developer, just get rid of search. Don't matter where it's at. All right. So right here, okay, they want 3 years of SQL Server experience with uh, experience in understanding relational database concepts. So obviously you've done SQL before. You guys have done SQL. You've dealt with it. So that's kind of a no-brainer. But in this bullet point, I'd probably talk about different things I've done. Probably kind of lasso it in with this next one, which is strong skills in writing SQL. Because you said SQL Server, it's SQL Server, and you're saying writing SQL. So you guys know SQL Server. T SQL is what you work. So whenever you're talking, you say T SQL. Yeah, I work. Don't you don't have to say T SQL. Just say SQL because they may want you to jump into a different one. You may have to do Teradata. You may have to do Google BigQuery, which I have before. So you have to kind of know which one to jump into. Right here, strong skills in writing SQL, creating packages, leveraging functions, developing stored procedures, and optimizing SQL queries. Right. So therein, I'm getting some feedback from somebody. Therein, guys, you just want to make sure that you do what you got to do, man, to be successful. And say that right here. It says self-motivated individual. This is none of this. Okay, here we go right here. Experience with data. This is something you guys definitely should go for. But of course, this is a hybrid, which means you got to be in Akron, Ohio, at least maybe 1 or 2 days a week. Flexible with opportunities to work remotely. So I would still go in for this. Now, I ain't saying that just because it says this that you guys need to go for it, but I definitely would go for this because this is the type of job that you guys could do with each, probably all y'all could. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else. All right, so this one right here, SSIS. You don't have that. So what you do is you say something like, well, I've modified a few packages and dealt with packages before. You talk about for each loop containers, data flow, control flow, the things that I told y'all about. You say you've done those things. You talk about variables, working with variables. That's why you need to watch. If I were going on that video, that interview, I would watch all of the self-study videos, SSIS videos. Like if they say Monday you got an interview, today's Wednesday, you need to be watching those videos, playing with it, open it up, trying to do things so that you can talk about logging errors and uh, you know error handling and different things like that. Once you can talk like that, they'll leave you alone. You talk about looping, for each loop containers, sequence containers, for loop containers, table objects, looping through table objects, doing grabbing things, doing different things with them with the execute SQL task, data flow, uh, file system task. You can kind of talk. A lot of times when people talk and they say, okay, so tell me about your SSIX experience. Well, I haven't really, I wouldn't say I'm a SSIS developer. However, I am pretty comfortable doing certain things. Like I've worked with the data flow. Obviously, that's where you do your extract, transform, and load. So I'm familiar with the different components inside of the data flow tab, which is the different sources, the different transformations, and the different destinations. Also within the control flow, I'm used to working with the different containers, different. I've worked with variables, obviously looping through table objects. Making connection managers dynamic, things like that. That way, it's not everything I just said. That's surface stuff. That's what we talked about. That's what I showed you. Now I ain't saying that you know it like that. You probably don't know it like I do. I know you don't. But the thing is, you're not trying to know it like I do. What you're trying to do is get them off your ass about SSIS and say, okay, we can give Brandon this position and trust that he's at least competent enough to figure his way out, figure his way through. And then what you do is you get the job, damn it. If they say, okay, they're going to give you the job, guess what you do? You brush up, you start really working on SSIs, you start playing with it. You start doing what you got to do. You're going to run into errors. You're going to run into problems. Give me a call. That's what happened to a brother Damiete. He came in here and spoke with y'all at the beginning of the class. Same thing. Got a SSIS student, got a done SSIS job, been working there for 2-3 years, and he's like way better at SSIS than I ever could be. He'll run circles around me now because he do it all day, every day. I hadn't touched SSIS in about 6-7 years in a work environment. You know what I'm saying? So right here, Microsoft SQL Server, obviously y'all know that. Health Rules Payer. So what you want to do with this, depending on what you got on your resume, you can talk about these two things right here, because they just really, when it comes to diagnosis codes, right? So these are different things that you probably want to get into understanding and being able to speak to. Why? Because if you're working within a company that, let's say you're trying to go work with a company that deals with healthcare, which is a lot of IT jobs, just every last one of y'all gonna go on an interview within the first year of a company that does something in healthcare. All of y'all are. And those companies pay very well, and you just need to, if you can, familiarize yourself with. So basically, what I'm going to say is this. You're going to have to, from time to time, go do a little quick brush up on different things. That's a skill you need to really work on. Not to where you can be a guru at it, because that's not, nobody's going to be a guru, right? None of you, you're not going to be a guru, but what I want you guys to be able to do is just speak authoritatively like you know what you're talking about, and say, hey, I haven't, tell the truth, but, kind of brush over certain things, right? This right here, job duties. TC, okay, we require qualified to take lead in following tasks. Rationalizing and mapping data between transactional and dimensional database modeling systems. So how would you map data between systems? Somebody answer that.
I'm assuming it involves SSIS.
Yeah, you probably want to bring that data. It says right here, it says between transactional and dimensional database. That means
when you were
transaction.
talking, yeah,
Hold on. So hold on. Let me go ahead and go over this real quick, because I don't think I talked about this. I probably did, but you guys might have forgot. But let me go here. So we'll go to Paint right quick. I want y'all to understand something, and this is something you need to know when you're going on these interviews. All right. So you got a database, right? The database works transactions, right? That database is called an online transactional processing database, OLTP, right? The analytical database is storing historical data. A lot of times this will get full. You'll create packages to extract the data out of here and load it over here. This is where you might have a fact and dimension table. So when he says dimensional database, that's what he's talking about, facts and dimension, which I know we talked about, right? And so what you want to do with this will be your transaction, right? But you don't want to store your transactions in this database, because first of all, it's smaller, it's going to fill up, and it's going to run sluggish, and that's where your money at. Your transactions is where your money is. OLAP is historical data. OLAP is set up a certain way with a bunch of indexes. You should not over-index, listen to me, you should not over-index a transactional database. Why is that? Why should you not over-index a transactional database?
Slows down transactions.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because you with indexes you're trying to optimize retrieval operations. So if you would have more than one, it would kind of make it kind of sluggish. It'll be redundant, I'm assuming.
Well, no, you almost had it. You almost had it. You are correct. When you're doing an OLAP, analytical processing database, OLAP, OLAP, right? when you're looking at that database, which is the one on the right, which would be the warehouse, that database has a lot of indexes because you're not going to be doing a lot of updates, inserts. You'll do inserts through the ETL, obviously, but you're not going to run update statements. You're not going to run. Why? Because that's historical data of transactions that took place in the database. Why are you changing it? Right? You would have no record of it. If I went and changed an employee's last name, I would have no record of that employee having ever had that last name if I update it, right? So chances are within a OLAP database, that particular customer or employee would have two roles, one for when they were single and one for when they got married. Female, she got married, changed her last name, right? So you have indexes over there to access the data quickly, right? Whereas in transactional databases, if I'm doing over there, you're going to do insert, update, delete. Why do you not want to insert? You don't want it that many. Let me tell you something. If you ever get a job, when you guys get a job, I'm going to tell you like this. Do not, under any circumstances, add a index to a table. You add an index, add it to a temp table that you yourself created. Okay? The reason you don't do that is because, let's say, for example, let me show y'all something. And these are just things that interview type stuff that they going to try to trap. They want to trap you on and make sure that you're a junior developer. A junior developer wouldn't know what to say. You going to know what to say because we finna go through it. We finna play with it, all right? So I want y'all to know so they can't come up in there and say, okay, well, you guys don't seem to be, he doesn't seem to know what he's talking about. He said this and he said that and he shouldn't have said this and he shouldn't, nah. We ain't gonna have
So, and one of your flashcards, you did mention like when you create the maximum amount of index that are supposed to be clustered is 1, and I believe it's 999 that is unclustered. So is that
non-clustered? Yeah,
you're non-clustered. Is that related to that?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Okay, so let me say this right here. So let's look at these stored procedures. I'm just gonna grab one. I'm just gonna look at it. All right, so we see this stored procedure is doing whatever it's doing, right? Jumping around, playing with whatever it's playing with. Now, what if I take this table? Let me see. I take this table right here, human resource job candidate, and look like they're doing an insert. Well, they're not, but let's say, now this ain't doing nothing but pulling data, but let's say it was doing some sort of update in this stored procedure. See, you got to understand, when you go in a job environment, you'll have thousands of stored procedures. You have a laundry list of stored procedures. So you can't just assume, see right here, we ain't got but a couple of them. We got like maybe 20 of them. Man, you'll have I'm talking about it might be 800 stored procedures on there. Right? Do you know for a fact that if I add an index to a table, and they may give you, see, a good DBA ain't gonna let you have permission to add an index. But what you don't want to do is add an index. If you ever feel as though you need to add an index, you go talk to the DBA. And you ask the database administrator. Why? Because if you put an index on a table, specifically in a transactional database, which is their production, where they make money at, right? So if you go and you put an index on a table without anybody knowing, and it's 5 or 6 different processes in the background, stored procedures running, and now every time they do an update, they have to update what they call statistics because you added another index. Had you not added that index, it wouldn't have to update those statistics as much. But because you added that index, now it's more work. It slows it down. That's what it does. So what you don't want to do within a transactional processing database is you don't want to add indexes. So if somebody asks you, say, okay, would you add an index? If they try to trick you, somebody say, okay, walk me through, okay, you got this stored procedures running slow. You discover that you got a table is running slow. What would you do? Right? You say, you don't just blurt out add an index, because that's a trick question. What they're trying to see is, do you know that you shouldn't be adding? You shouldn't be adding an index to a table to try to retrieve data faster, yeah, it may work just for you, but it's a few things you could do, right? Like, for example, if a table's running slow, first thing I do, I'll just say, okay, when they join to this table, it's slow. You got 30. Okay, let me see if I can find some with a bunch of joins. I think this got some joins. Nope. Let's look at a view. So I think some of those views got joins in them. We're gonna script it out. All right, so these are joins, right? Now, let's say this is a stored procedure. This is a view, but let's say it's a stored procedure, right? You come down here and you run, and so what you do whenever you're testing, you come in all this out. You'll come in all this out. You'll come at the P's out first, and you'll just run E. It'll go fast, right? You'll let P in. You'll come in out the rest of this, and you'll let the P in, and it'll run fine. You'll come in out the rest of this, and you'll let the S in. So it's E, P, and S. That's when it slows down, right? S dot name, when you pulling that column in off of the, what is that? Shift, human resource dot shift table, it's messing up. It's bogging you down, right? You know what you do? You come here, just as an example. I would come here, copy, and I would go up here somewhere and I would try to say, okay, let me see if I can select into a temp. And then what you do is, let's say you got a where clause down here. If you got a where clause and it's saying where S dot whatever equals whatever, then what you do is you select whatever column you need, which is S, you select name. Also, you need to bring in shift ID. So you need to bring in name and shift ID. So you'll say select distinct name, comma, shift ID, and you might call it shift name or whatever. Or shift. You might just go ahead and call it shift, right? So you'll say select shift, and then you'll S dot name, and you'll say add shift, and you'll say comma shift ID. Where? I mean, from a human resource dot shift, where, and then whatever the filter you're gonna have on there. Now, the reason you'll do that is because what that'll do is that'll create a little temp table. Now, you might run that, and it might run in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now, when you come down here, you just join to that, and it speeds up your query. See what I'm saying? Or even if, let's say it don't speed your query, let's say it take a while. Create the index, create the temp table, add an index to the temp table on shift ID, and then join on shift ID to that temp table. That, and then see if that's fast. See what I'm saying? So it's like little gumshoe detective things that you do. You play with it. And you're going to do this. All y'all going to do this one day. You're going to play with something, and they're going to tell you to speed it up. You're going to be playing with it, trying to figure out how to speed it up. That's what you use. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had a few questions. I mean, no, go ahead. Go. You can finish what you're saying.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You use your execution plan. You use set statistics IO. You want to look at the input, logical reads, logical writes. You want to look at all that, because what you want to do is you just want, not, am I going to go all in depth like this in an interview? No. If somebody asks me something, they ask you, okay, they try to trick you into talking about adding an index. You go out, you say, well, no, I don't believe in adding indexes unless I first at least talk to the DBA and make sure that I'm not going to be bogging down the system, because they may be doing some writing with updates and inserts and deletes and merge statements. I don't want to just add an index. A lot of times you can add an index to a temp table, so I might take that data, dump it into a temp table, and add an index to, and then join to that. That might speak, so it just depends. It's really a trial and error. Sometimes I like to look at it as Carmen, gumshoe detective, on the hunt for Carmen Sandiego. You crack a little joke or something, right? And they be like, oh, okay, and they'll leave you alone. But you gotta kind of. Sometimes they might dive in, and if you don't know, you don't know. Well, I don't know, but I've had people go all deep with performance tuning. I'm gonna tell you how I've gotten jobs like that. Let me tell you the best way I did it. I went to YouTube, typed up T-SQL performance tuning on YouTube, and watched like an hour-long video of some dude. He was American. I prefer the American videos. I don't like the Indian videos because I don't understand what they're saying, right?
Me too. My attention deficit is like a
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like
fly.
I'm so focused on how he talk, I don't even know what he's saying. And so
Yeah.
the point is, you go to those videos and you watch the performance tuning video, and then you go in the interview and they talk. And I watch that joker the morning before I go. Like if the interview is at 12 o'clock, damn it, I'm getting up at 8 and I'm watching that video. I'm writing out notes. I'm looking at it. I'm listening to it. Then when I go in, they gonna hit you with the standard interview questions that I done gave y'all. That's what they 90% of the time, that's what they gonna do. And then they might come at you, okay, this job requires for you to do some performance tuning. Say, well, I've done some performance tuning. Okay, okay, so let's say, well, guess what? You just watched a video from a real professional that been doing it for years. That's really good. And so you can spit game to them and they'll be like, oh man, she's really impressive. And that's how you get a job. It's the cheat code. If I tell you, hey man, it's this girl, right? She really, in order to get her to fall in love with you, man, you just gotta take ID, you gotta do this, do that, be consistent, give her a phone call, tell her she's beautiful, whatever, right? That's the cheat code. That's not fair. But it is. That's how you play in the game. They giving you this right here, these job descriptions, that's exactly what they're giving you. This is how I like, here's how I like a man to treat me, right? This is what they're saying. And when you come in, you know the game, right? This right here, same thing. You scroll down. Develop data-centric solutions to meet university needs and focus on existing silo data. Okay. So a lot of times you can talk about you can also talk about requirements gathering. You want to always talk about that. Not a lot of times. Every time that you go on an interview, you want to always remind these people that you are doing requirements gathering, which is where you meet with someone. This is what I want every one of y'all to say on an interview. So I'm giving y'all the game. Go on an interview, talk about requirements gathering, because if you don't talk about requirements gathering, they'll feel like, okay, is he or she comfortable client facing, where they're looking someone in the face and talking? Are they comfortable? You may be scared as a damn, scared as hell, but it don't matter. Yeah, well, I'm used to gathering requirements, going in, talking to different people. Sometimes when I need to develop reports, I'll meet with the end user and gather requirements from them so that I can go in and better create their create what they're looking for. Sometimes I might just do a mock-up query right there in front of them just to see if those are the particular columns they're looking for, and then I'll go and format it into a stored procedure and create a report from there. We already have templates in the system. What is a template? You do not 9 times out of 10. Let me see. So 9 times out of 10, right? When you go and create a report, right? It ain't gonna look nothing like this. It ain't gonna be just this normal way of looking at it, right? It ain't gonna be like this, right? They gonna already have a company letterhead. They gonna already have a good template. Have your data sets already set up. It'll have your parameters already set up. It'll have your damn, it'll have something up here like a dummy data source where you can already go and say, okay, they got this, shared data source that they want you to tap into. And you just go in and make a couple of changes and you're done. That's called a template. It ain't like this where you come in here and you say, let me show you. Hold up. If I come here and say, I'm going to just say new item and just say report. It ain't going to look like that. Companies don't want you doing it because it's going to be inconsistent. People have different. So a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do something like that. You're going to do something where they already got it set up. All right. So like I said, once again, if somebody asks you and they say, okay, we're looking for somebody that does this, and you guys already got everything, man. I'm really just going through Power BI for bells and whistles. Y'all got everything. Power BI really, is anybody shook about Power BI? Is anybody like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna really. This seems really hard. Is there anybody that feels that way?
I
It don't
think
seem
we just
hard. I just need to
go
keep
over the old
doing.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
I
saying,
get the
guys.
concepts though.
But let me say this: it ain't that hard because I'm gonna give y'all the doggone what you call that I used to learn it some years ago. I bought this years ago. It was a Udemy. I had a job. They wanted me to do some Power BI. I told them, hey man, give me a week. Man, I just sat up there the whole week. They was paying me. I was sitting there watching Power BI videos. Then I just jumped right on in Power BI and started working. It ain't that hard because I already know how to create data. So once you get a data source, data set, visualize. That's all you do. Data source, data set, visualize. Data source, data set, visualize. That's all of them. It's just a way you do it in each platform. Power BI is very powerful, though. It can do a lot of things, but I'm just saying that's the main thing. So just so you know, guys, I want you guys to understand you're gonna go out and you're gonna get your ass handed to you probably sometime. It happens. Don't be shook by that. You got to go through that. You should be excited and even go into it with a good attitude, like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get the job. I'm just gonna go ahead and I just want to get in front of a company. I want to be tested. I want to see what I can do. That's how I felt, right? When I first got the skills that I needed, I wanted to test the waters. So I wanted to go out and talk to different people and ask, have them ask me questions. I wanted to do an interview. I was all day, every day submitting applications. And I was getting interviews, and people were coming to me and I was getting these interviews, and then I started feeling like relaxed. I wasn't scared. I didn't care. Because I knew eventually I'm gonna get a job because I'm getting good at it. I'm answering. I know what they're gonna ask me. That's when I started noticing the pattern that they give. That those questions that I gave y'all, that is the cheat code. Because I knew then. I was like, oh man, they dead. I already know what they're gonna ask me. They're gonna ask me about the joins. They're gonna ask me about how to remove duplicate records. They're gonna ask me this. They're gonna ask me that. And I gave y'all all the possible interview questions they can ask y'all. I ain't gonna say possible, but most, right? And once I started knowing those, it wasn't nothing they can do to stop me. And I noticed after I got my first job, I worked a little bit, about 3 months. That project ended, and then next thing you know, I was like, I was set. I was getting jobs like one interview. Like I started getting jobs like I would half-ass look for a job. Like somebody call me, I say, "What you got?" I've gotten jobs. I've gone years without putting in applications. Like I actually would get 2 and 3 jobs by they called me. I just said, "What do you have?" And I wouldn't even put an application in. I mean, it's been that good. But that's because I know what I'm doing, and because I'll take. See, I ain't like certain people. Certain people won't take that 100,000, 10. Man, bump that, man. I need at least $80 an hour. No, I take $60. I take $55. I might even take $50. Shit, I take $45. Right? You know why? Because I'm gonna work that joker, then I'm gonna get another job. So I don't care. Right? And you shouldn't either. Get as much as you can. Get one job, but they want to pay you 95,000. All right, man. I'll take 95,000. And then you go get another job. And that next job that you have, instead of it being 95,000, they might give you 125. So, you're making $230,000, man, or whatever it is, $220,000 off of 2 jobs. Yeah, you might be like, man, they working me to death. No, they not, man. It's IT. You sitting at home in your underwear, right? You don't get up and go downstairs until 12 noon. You take an hour and a half lunch. You go to the gym. You get on the phone. You chilling the whole time you working. You got the TV going. You chilling. You watching Sports Center. If you feel like looking something up, you do it. You go look something up. If you want to get in the car and go somewhere, you just take your laptop with you. This stuff that's the lifestyle. That is the lifestyle of an IT developer, right? If you got 2 laptops, you take both of them with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what recommendations would you give in terms of our first job? Like let's say you're stumped at something. What would you say? Go on Reddit,
Chat
go
GPT.
online.
Chat GPT.
Okay.
Chat GPT. Let it do the work for you. You know exactly what type of question you're trying to do something technical? Chat GPT. That's it. It'll tell you exactly what the answer is. If not, it'll tell you where to get it. And then another thing, a dirty little secret. Let me go ahead and show y'all this secret weapon of mine. Let's say it's something crazy and obscure that Chat GPT can't answer. You know what you do? MSDN forums. Let me tell you something. Many a days, I came here when I ain't know something. I come here, I log in and I ask a question. Let me tell you something. Them Indians over there in India, they'll answer your question in about 20 minutes. Them jokers, it was so good. I would come in, ask a question. When I run into a snag, I would just ask a question and go outside and get on the phone and start talking or call my homeboy. I mean, what's up, man? What you doing? You know, middle of the day. All right, bro, I hit you back. Go back in there, refresh, there you go. Somebody gave me the answer from China or somebody from India or Pakistan. They love this stuff. Use them. They love it. Right? So if you're looking for something that really gonna help you get past the snags, you can always call me. But chances are, if I don't even know what you're doing, and now it depends. If you call me, I can tell you straight up some of it. Like if you get a job and you're doing ETL, I can tell you straight up what to do. Right? For the most part, unless it's something crazy. Well, hey, they want me to create a package that does this. Oh, yeah, man, that's a FTP task. You're going to have to reach over there. So get your FTP task in your control flow. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put into your credentials. When you get it over here, you're going to have to decrypt it. So in order to decrypt it, you need to execute process task. And you want to use 7-zip or WinZip or whatever to unzip it. And then when you it's encrypted first. So before you unzip, you unzip it, then you decrypt it. So that's another execute process. See, I can tell you stuff because I done built it. I know how it worked. I did that before. So that's one thing.
I was gonna ask, when did you feel like you gained a mastery over it? Like in like a year or 2 years?
It took me a minute. It took me a minute because I really don't love this. I don't love it. I don't care about it. I don't study. I'm just being straight up. I didn't study. I just knew how to get paid. I know how to get a job and hold a job for about 6 months. I knew how to do that, and I'm cool with that. Because me, after 6 months, I'll be wanting to take a month off anyway, just to chill, because I'm like that. My heart has never been in this. What my heart is in what you guys saw me watching before we got started. That's where my heart is, right? This isn't it. This is just something I did to make some money. Most of you guys are probably going to be better developers. Most of you guys will be better developers than I am. I have no problem with that. I don't need to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't need to feel like I know everything. I don't. What you got, Ron? Okay. But yeah, so yeah.
What about so I work for Amazon, and like they have their own apps and, you know what I'm saying, their own tools. So like looking up stuff that
yeah, they have stuff built in within certain organizations where they got like I forget what you call it, but they store some of that stuff.
Don't they have Dynamo? They have like Red Dynamo DB some.
Well, I know for a fact you can go like certain organizations I worked in. I worked in one company. They built a mastermind thing where if you experience something, you take a screenshot of it, you type out notations as to what you did and what you saw and how you fixed it, and you just upload it. And so they create a long laundry list of that stuff. And so you'll search it by keywords, and they do that. Like, but that's, I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't get used to that because that's not the normal environment. The normal environment, they ain't gonna have nothing. They not gonna have no documentation. That's what it's called, documentation, right? If I take a screenshot with the snipping tool and type it out and paste it in a Word document and explain what it is and how to do it, right? That is called documentation. You can ask for documentation, but you probably not gonna get it. You're not. And so you're gonna have to be able, as a developer, to ask great questions to be able to get what you need. Now, the thing is, in asking questions, please do some research before you ask a question. Do not ask a dumb question. I know you guys like, wait a minute. Even a genius asks questions. Yes, after having done, I'm not gonna ask you what's a dog, right? You just look it up.
Yep.
Certain things, if you know you can look it up, look it up. If you don't know what a dog is, go look up what is a dog, right? Then when you ask somebody, okay, so there's this Great Dane over there. Now I can ask a more informed decision from my coworker. Why is that? That is the fastest way to get your ass terminated is by being up in there and not giving these people, and like having them give you like rudimentary things that you yourself can look up. You don't need to be spoon-fed in a work environment. Okay? In a work environment, you want to at least look stuff up as much as you can. If it's something proprietary to that particular organization, then obviously you have to ask questions. But
Yeah,
when
that's
you ask
the issue
questions,
with that with me. Yeah.
and when you ask these questions, guys, write it down. Do
Yeah.
not
Yep.
listen. You could get a Word document if that's what you want to do. Get you a pencil and paper and write it down. Because for me, old-fashioned writing stuff down where you can grab a piece of paper and look at it and understand and make sure it's not just some incomplete, incoherent sentences. Make sure you write when you are trying to do this, do this. Make sure that write it all out. If you want to do a Word document, fine, but make sure you save it and keep that. Why? Because I guarantee you about a month later, something gonna happen and you ain't gonna know what's going on. And they told you. Right? Now, this is how you get fired. Right? I wouldn't write it down. I would look, okay, thank you. I would do it. Then you got to understand, you just not getting there. Got a lot of stuff going on. You're trying to learn a lot. You forget. You come back again. You ask a
Yep.
question. They tell you, oh, yeah, this is how you do it. About the third time, they getting agitated. They probably not going to say nothing to you. They just going to tell your supervisor. Yeah, he's not doing this right. I mean, I've had to tell him 3 times, da 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 da. So what you don't want to do is be that guy. What you want to do is the first time they tell you something, your ass write it down, or you go and you save it, or even sometimes if you're at home, take your phone, get an app, and just hit record. Right, and you can just be listening to them talk. They can tell you what it is. Right. So, oh, okay. So I have to, see the way it works, and I'm gonna tell you what they gonna do when they first start. Any organization that you start with, they're going to give you the talk. The talk is how they do things, why they do what they do, how their databases are set up. You are not expected to understand this the very first day you get there. Do not panic, okay? There's a reason my students don't get fired like that. Because nobody within their right mind expects you to walk in off the street, cold turkey, understanding their database. That's not even logical. Right? I don't give a damn if you dumb as a doorknob. If you walk up in there and you at least know SQL, you're going to be able to hang in that job if you just do the right things that I tell you. You'll be able to hang in there at least for about 3 to 4 months before they figure out you dumb as a doorknob and they fire you, which it will happen. Don't worry about that. You don't care about that. What you care about is getting people's phone numbers that work there, building up rapport, going to lunch with them, right? Getting cool with them. It may not be the supervisor. Doesn't have to be your supervisor. Supervisor can't stand you. He may not like you. You don't care. The guy sitting next to you, he cool though. He try to help you out. That's the guy's phone number. Why do you want to do that? Because now you got references from the last company, and they don't give you bad references. When you do get terminated, you call that guy. Say, hey, I'm looking for a job. You mind giving me a reference? Yeah, sure. No problem, man. I got you. They'll do that. That's just common courtesy, decency within the industry for people to give you references. So you get at least two. Try to get you at least 2 references from that particular company. And then you go back out there and you look and they say, okay, well, okay, this looks like a 3-month project. Why were you only there 3 months? Oh, it was just a short-term project. I just did it. I like to take projects. Then you take another job. You get that one. You work that one about 6 months, 9 months, whatever. Then what you do is you might want to change your resume. You got 2 or 3 references there. You take that 3-month project, get rid of it. I got a whole bunch of stuff that ain't even on my resume that I've done. Companies I've worked for, right? I was in there and got it. They put me out after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and then I said, screw it. I'm cool. Right? People don't even know I worked there before. I worked at a company twice. They didn't even know. United Health Group. They did not know I had worked there before until I got the job. And they started trying to tell me stuff and I already knew it. It's like, oh, okay, you worked here? Yeah, I worked here years ago, man. It was about 7 years ago. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. And I was there about 7, 8 months. It was cool though. I mean, my thing is at the end of the day, guys, at first, most of you guys probably won't be like me. Like I was a little different than most of you guys probably would be. Most of you guys will probably keep your job. You probably take it serious. You I ain't gonna say I didn't take it serious. I I know in my heart of hearts that what I really want to do is something different. And so I've always had my mind on other things, business, opportunities, different things like that. And so I was just using this as the way, as a means to an end, as a vehicle to get me in the destination I wanted, right? And so you guys don't really need to be focused on trying to be the best developer more so than just being a competent developer. If you focus on that, that's easier, right? The best that comes with time. Where did I ever get to the point where I was comfortable? It probably wasn't until after about 6, 7 years, if I'm being honest. But it could have been shorter if I would have gave more of an effort. I'm just being straight up. I half-assed it. I didn't care. I didn't study. I come home. I'm closing my laptop. I ain't touching it till Monday morning, 9 o'clock. I'm not doing 4 o'clock shoot, 2 o'clock Friday. I'm damn near. I'm off. I'm just sitting there. If I'm at work after lunch Friday, I'm coasting. I'm coasting. I'm not working hard. I don't want to do nothing. Don't come assign me nothing. If you do, yeah, all right, I'll finish it Monday. Not doing this, man. It's Friday. That's how it works. 2:30, 3 o'clock, everybody leaving. I'm telling you what it is because don't nobody want to be in traffic in Atlanta. And that's usually how it works. You're only working about 4.5 days a week. Out of those 4.5 days, when you get to work, probably the first 2 hours you just bullshitting. Excuse my French. You lollygagging, right? And then you finally kick in and start doing some work around about 10:30 because you got some real meetings coming up and you don't want to sound stupid. You have your meeting, the meeting's over, you have lunch. You take your hour lunch, sometimes an hour and a half, come back. About 3:30, 4 o'clock is time. About 3:45, I'm walking to the door. I'm getting in my car and I'm going home. That's how I used to do. I probably work 5 hours a day, but so what? That's normal. And I still was able to get my work done. I was still able to go ahead.
Hey, Sub, I was gonna say I'm not gonna lie. For $50, I'm gonna be the ultimate Boy Scout. I'm gonna be like
I mean, okay, you stay there to 5. You're gonna be there by yourself. Ain't nobody gonna be there. But hey, if you $50 an hour, that's what they paying. I ain't gonna lie. When I first started, I was like that. But they don't care. The guy that's your supervisor, man, they'll tell you, hey man, submit 40 hours, man. They'll tell you. Hey, don't worry, just submit. They know you ain't worked but 30 hours sometimes. Hey, submit 30. Submit 40 hours. Go ahead, submit 40.
But what I'm saying is I'm exhaust all resources to
well,
be
you
like
you want to stay late and probably make sure you make a good impression of you guys don't be like me. I'm just telling you how I was and why. And that's why you're here, because I think this, to be honest with you, I think this is really what the cost of it coming to this class gives you is this. The screw ups, the getting fired, the stories of how to mess up, and somebody that can tell you what not to do. These things that you don't get that nobody would have told you in a regular course, they just would have taught you the basics and sent you on about your business. And then when you got out there, you look like you don't know what you're talking about. When they ask you about agile methodology and being within an agile environment, what do they mean? They mean stand-ups, daily stand-ups, where you have a stand-up every day for about 15, 20 minutes. And then every 2 weeks, you'll have something called my mind is blank. You have scrum meetings every day. Yeah, but when the sprint ends, there's sprint planning where you guys sit down and you exchange what happened, what went well in this sprint, what went wrong in this sprint. How can we fix this? Those are the different things you need to be able to do, right? And those are things I give you guys. I tell you, hey man, this is what they're gonna ask you. This is how it's gonna work. That's what we need to know. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead. Let's get to it. What I do?
I was gonna ask you on your first job, like, what does a typical day start out like? When, in other words, like when you're working on things like on our first job, what did it, I mean, I know every job varies, but what are you typically going to be doing? If let's say you get like a, not necessarily an entry level, but just to starting off, like, but they were like, okay, we need you to create tables, we need you to optimize certain things, we need you to normalize stuff. Like,
Really, man, my first table was my first job, man. The guy walked me in there the first day and said, "Hey, this is Bill. He's our new SQL guru." It scared the life out of me. I panicked, went to the bathroom and called my brother. Man, he just called me the SQL guru. What am I gonna do? My brother said, "Well, now you the new SQL guru. Just calm down and relax. Just sit there. It's the first week. They ain't gonna do nothing, man. They probably even got your laptop ready." Sure enough, they didn't. So the first week, all I did was sit there and surf the web on a desktop, right? Straight up. They gave me the laptop. So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna give you something easy. So I want you to go in here," and he gave me some little report. Man, I went in there and fixed that report. I was like, "Oh, this ain't nothing. I can fix this." Right? And I didn't take him. I had never worked before, but I knew SSRS because that's what he gave me. He gave me what was on my resume. See, a good manager would do that. If a manager bring you in there day one and he got you doing something you ain't never done, he's stupid. Because you're not gonna, first of all, it's gonna mess your confidence up. I don't care if you got a 30-year track record of working. You walk somebody in there first day and you got them doing Java and they ain't got Java nowhere on their resume, that's kind of stupid. That's what they did to one of my students one time. They gave him a JavaScript to go and mess with. And I was like, "Why they got you messing with Java, bro?" "Well, yeah, man, he wanted me to do this and then he wanted me to change this." And he figured it out. That's what's crazy. He actually, I mean, he's God rest him, Johnny Digital. He's dead now, but Johnny, man, I was impressed. I was like, man, Johnny went in there and figured it out. He called me. He's like, "Man, look, I did." He was proud. They fired him that Friday. But he was making like $60. He had went from making like $22,000 at a factory, making like $11 an hour, to $50. He saved up a lot of money. He said, "Man, I got terminated," but he said, "Man, I saved up like $12,000 though." Then when they let me go, I was able to really kind of stay afloat, pay my bills, and I got a job in 6 weeks. He's back to work. But don't be so shook about these jobs, man. They come and go. They're really not what you think they are. They're not. It's not like you got to be this genius. Like they try to act like, you got to be so smart. You got to know this. No, you don't. You just got to be willing to give effort and try. When they give you an assignment, that assignment, you'll have to just figure it out. And it take time. And damn it, you got 8 hours to do it. If not, a whole week, depending on when they want you to have it done. So if you sit, I don't care who you are. If you study SQL and you pass my SQL interview, and then you go and you take a task that they assign you, and you sit there for 8 hours, there's no way in hell you're not going to be able to at least know something of that. Like you know what I'm saying? You're going to know something. You're not going to just be completely blind. If you got Google, ChatGPT, all these different things, you got other coworkers you can send ping through Microsoft Teams and ask questions about how they do things at that particular organization. Don't, under any circumstances, don't ever ask them something you're supposed to know as far as SQL, or something that is functional, like, okay, how do I create a report in Tableau or something? Don't ever ask that. Damn it, go watch a video, go look it up, but do not ask them that. I remember I had a student that they told him to create a table, and he asked the dude. I said, "Man," and I didn't know. I didn't tell him not to, but I've been teaching for a while, so now I know. And that brother's doing well right now. Right? He's actually my highest earning student. I mean, he's making like $400,000. But the thing is, he what he did was he said, "Man, the dude I asked him how to create a table, and he just looked at me like I was crazy." I said, "Yeah, because you're supposed to know how to create a table. That's basic. That's like saying, what's a select statement?" "Damn, man, I was just asking." He was ready to quit. "Man, this ain't for me. IT ain't for me, man. I'm gonna go back to trucking." I said, No, you're not. I said, "Man, I said, they're not picking on you, brother. You should know how to create a table, and you don't. You interviewed well, but you didn't even, you knew you had the head knowledge, but you didn't know how to." Because back then, I used to only interview and ask those damn questions that I gave y'all. That's the only way I used to interview. Can't interview like that. Because I need to know that you know what you're talking about. So I ask how-to stuff. So how would you do this? What construct would you use? How would you do this? How would you do that? Right? And so I want you guys to understand that. Do not panic under any circumstances in these interviews and in these companies, and you know, or even when if somebody does pounce on you, which it's happened a couple of times when I've been fucked with. Excuse me. It's happened a couple of times when people have messed with me and done things in a professional setting. Where even they got unprofessional. They were unprofessional. I wasn't. But I kept my cool. Why? First of all, I'm a black man. I'm over 6'1", 6'2", 200 and some odd pounds. If I snap, they're going to get scared. Right? Not because I'm a tough guy, but because it's just these people probably just aren't from certain circles. They don't understand African American males like we do. Right? I'm from Montgomery. I'm from the hood. I know when a dude just talking and he just using his arms and having gestures, but somebody might take that like you about to hit him. Somebody from another culture, Indian, Asian, white, whoever. So I usually in these environments maintain your cool. People will get upset from time to time, but so what? Worst thing they can do is fire you. They can't touch you, because if they do, call me. Sue. If they touch you, fall out on the floor and act like and just start vibrating and call the police. That's how you do that, right? They ever put their hands on you, it's payday. It's heyday. I promise you. Hey, if you even push me, I'm going to fall and scream and just lay out. Eyes closed, just unconscious. Don't ever touch me in a professional setting. All that money y'all got, bet. I'm going to own. My name will be on the front of the building before it's all said and done. But what I don't want you guys to do is get upset when you get in those types of environments where, and sometimes, guys, certain jobs just aren't good jobs. What I mean by that is there are certain jobs where every other week there's a fire, and it shouldn't be every day something's broke. Something's not working in production. I mean, I've literally been on projects and you'll be up front talking to somebody and everybody just running to the back. Production's down. I'm like, oh my God, every 2 seconds, right? Because it was a poorly built database. This is what you say when somebody asks you and they say, okay, so tell me about your past. Well, yeah, I was at one company, and, like maybe your first company, you might say something like, well, I was at this other company and we had a lot of fires. Things just kept breaking, and the database just wasn't built properly from the beginning stages. And so, trying to build on top of that, just see, these types of things are logistics. And that is impressive, because that means that you can really, they're probably like, man, we could probably use him or her for, as a leader, because they seem to be very competent in their understanding of what it takes to be successful and how to design databases and things like that, right? So what you do is you watch database architecture videos on YouTube and just learn the lingo. It's just like that movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he would literally watch like a doctor show on television and imitate the doctor in a professional setting. Then he went and studied for the bar exam and passed it, and he hadn't even been to law school. He actually studied for the bar and passed it without even ever going to law school. Stuff like that. I'm just saying that the institutional educational way of learning and going the long way, which would be going and getting a bachelor's degree from a 4-year university, getting into student debt, going out and doing internships at these different organizations, is a waste of money and time and resources, because it does not take you that long, guys. With everything I've taught you guys is enough to get a job. Did it take you years? According to somebody I was talking to about 3 months ago, they told me there's no way in hell. There was somebody I wanted to teach my data science class, and he told me there's no way in hell you could teach data science in 4 months. That's what he told me. I don't like people like that. And I'm not trying to say that to be a mean person. I don't too particularly care for people like that, because first of all, I don't like being told what can't be done. That's just not, it's not my MO, right? I was told I'd never play college basketball. I was told you know, you ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't, and guess what? He was wrong, right? You a scrub, you this, you that, and you doing piss me off, and I got mad, right? And he said, "Oh, you could get Bill out of this game easy." Yeah, you could, because I was young, but guess what? I never quit. I kept going, I showed up every day, and before long, I can go at it with the best of them. I got pretty good eventually because I worked hard. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to this environment, working in these spaces, guys, you're going to be tested from time to time. People are going to come and they're going to ask you to do things. They might be upset because you didn't get it done in time. And if they ask you that on an interview, what you want to say in interviews a lot of times is, well, whenever they ask for something like that, you just say, yeah, I'm probably gonna, oh, I lost my train of thought. If they ask you questions, what was I just talking about? What was I just saying? Because it was important what I was about to say.
You talking about getting stuff done on time?
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you. So if someone wants you to get something done on time and you don't do it, they're gonna ask you questions like, okay, what do you do in that space, in that time? What do you do? I want somebody to tell me. What do you
I
do
just made.
when you if I give you a report, I need that report by Friday. Today Wednesday. What do you do?
If you know you're not gonna get it done by then, you just gotta let it. You have to tell the people that that had that target date that, you know what I mean, you got to give them the heads up.
Okay. So what you want to say a lot of times that impresses a lot of people. Well, I'm the type of person that believes in over communicating, and that way I rather over communicate. I might send an email, but a lot of times if you're around the corner, I'll get up and go walk over there to your desk and explain why I can't have it done. Because why? What does that do? Well, yeah, you could have sent an email. You could have sent a DM through Microsoft Teams. But I like to walk over and look people in the face and tell them directly what's going on, you know, because guess what? A lot of communication is nonverbal. So a lot of things, it's just best to look people in the face if you can. Obviously, if that person's in another state or something, then yeah, you have to call them. But even still, I'll call them through Teams. And I'll say, hey, I want you to know I'm sorry. I have some things going on right now. I'll do my best to get that to you as soon as possible. See, they love that. That's how you get a job, because they want to hear that the sincerity, and you want to express, and all that is just straight fluff. I said the same thing he said. I just fluffed it up. I just fluffed it up a little bit, but it's the same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna give them a heads up, but you got to say it in such a way so that they'll say, okay, this person would probably be a great culture fit for our organization, because that's one of the things they'll tell you is you're not a culture fit because you might say it in such a way, but especially black folks, we'll walk in the morning and say, hey, man, what's up? We'll walk in the morning and say good morning. We don't say good morning that much. Sometimes we do. But most of the time, we're like, oh, man, what's up? What's up with you? Dap you up or something. Culture. It's just a way you do things. Somebody had a question?
No, I was gonna say, showing up in person shows sincerity, and like you're authentically, like you're caring about what they feel. It's something. Sending an email is more formal. Being up and close in person shows that you took out the time to like kind of like massage their egos. A lot of these people, they want their ego a little bit stroked a little bit, not too much. Don't kiss ass.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
just
say that. I wouldn't say it like that. But yeah, I agree with you. But I wouldn't say it like that. I damn sure wouldn't say stroking ego, because then it makes them sound like they have a character flaw or something's wrong with them, and you want to seem very. Even when somebody asks you about name a time where someone did something that really made you angry, well, you know what? There was this one time where I got upset, but I calmed down and then I talked to someone. You want to seem like Clark Kent. You want to seem as mild mannered. You want to seem non-threatening, right? You want to seem as friendly. And I know you like, man, I guess almost like you got to go in there neutered or something. It's not that. It's just that what you don't want to do is come in there and talk about somebody else. Don't ever talk about a company you work for. Don't ever talk about now. You can say something like, "Yeah, we had a lot of fires at the organization, but I guess when it was first being built, the people that built it didn't understand SQL or they didn't understand database architecture, and so they made a lot of mistakes when they built the database. They built a lot of cursors within their stored procedures, things like that. And so, you have different things that crash, production goes down all the time. That's different because that's not talking about nobody in particular. That's just saying, you know what I'm saying? That's not really talking about it. That's not talking about, especially you never want to infringe on somebody's character in an interview and say, yeah, why'd you leave? Yeah, yeah, he was an asshole, or she was a mean person. Or, no, I got along great, even though you might have wanted to slap fire from that person when you work with them. But you know what? You never tell anybody that. You might have got escorted out. You might have got escorted out by the police, not because you was gonna hurt somebody, but because they fired you. That's how they do. They will fire you with the police sometimes. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried, right? When they walk you out, the next day I'll go on the interview. How did it go? Oh, it ended pretty well. Those guys are still cool. We're still friends. That's how I talk. Even though I'm like, that dirty mother, he walked me out. He's lying ass. That's how I really feel, but I'm not finna say that. You know what I'm saying? You had something, Demir?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's almost like you don't badmouth your ex in front of the new date.
Exactly. If I'm trying to talk to a woman, I don't want to sit there and drag her boyfriend, her man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, you throwing salt on. No, you don't throw salt. You don't do that. I hate when dudes do that. You trying to talk to the girl, just talk to her. Don't be lying on me. Some dudes do that, right? So anyway, let's get to the count function real quick. All right. So this is, first of all, let me get rid of this. Hold on. I got that, but let me get rid of this. There you go. So let's bring it back. All right. That's what's called I'm gonna click over here. That's called a card right here. Card. Click that. That brings that up, right? And now I'm gonna bring that column back over here. That column is called sample measure count. Bring it back, drop it in here. Boom. That's what it is. All right. Now, let's look at what sample measure count is doing. First of all, let's go look at this table right here. Let's go look at the table called sample table, right? So if I click here, this is sample table. Let me tell you something about sample table. First off, this is just information. It's blank, blank, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, the word text 1, the word text 2, right? This, I just typed it in there, right? Over here, you got a formula. And it's saying, okay, sample column 2, that's the name of this column, saying if sample table, sample column, which is this table / this column, the first column right here, is equal to nothing, then put the word false, otherwise put true. And that's what it did. Right? That's how you got sample column 2, sample column 1 right here. We say, okay, if, and then we go and say the sample table column called sample column, which is really the first column right here. If it equals nothing, then make it blank, right? Which is different from nothing. That's nothing, but this is blank. You'll see in a second, right? Then it's saying, otherwise, bring the actual column itself if it isn't blank. And that's what it did. So it looks very similar. So now you understand what we're doing. So when I go over here, and I click on this, now you see, okay, sample measure count. I tell you what, while we over here, let's take a screenshot of this. So we can, there you go, right there. All right, so I got this right here. Well, yeah, I got it right here, right? Now let's go back over here. Now let's click back on this again. Sample measure count. Let me click on this. There we go, right? So it's column 1. Let's look at this again. Actually, you know what? I ain't got to do that. I don't even have to do that. Sample column 1. I could drag this right here. I think that's where it go. What is this, man? What's going on? What in the world? Okay, let me do this again. Bring that in there. There we go. Now bring it over. Okay, that's not it. Which one is it? Something's not right. Anyway. Is less than. What did I say? Show value is less than is all. Okay, so obviously that's not correct. At any rate, let's look back at this again. So what this is doing is taking that first column and it's saying go down that first column and count all the values. Right? Now if we go down the first column. Oh, why does it look like that? Oh, that's it. So you got 1, 2, because it's blank, remember? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's only counting 7 of them because these are blank. I mean, not blank, but nothing. There's nothing there. See there? Equals nothing. It put blank. And it's actually talking about right here. But we're not looking at sample column 1. Well, actually, we are. So we're still talking about this one here. I was looking at sample column, but it's sample column 1. So these are 2 blanks, and it's not counting them. Do y'all see that?
Yes.
All right. So let's change it. Let's change it again. All right. Now, we're doing count rows, but we count rows from the whole entire table. And we did that by the function called count rows. So basically, I'm going to explain something to y'all. The functions and formulas that work within Power BI in the DAX codes are very redundant. It's just going to be basically you learning these codes. I'm going to give y'all a resource to go in. If you want to watch it and learn and play with it, you can. Right? So it's not something that you can't do. All right? Now, let's do something else. So that's how you count all the rows. Let's see what this one will do. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to, wait a minute, is this 2? It's 2. So now, sure. Yeah, sample column 2. Now, if you look at 2, 2 is false and true, right? But this is a count. Let's see what happens when we try to look at the second one right here and run that count. Oh, we're getting the error. What does it say? It says calculation error in measure, key measures table, function count cannot work with values of type Boolean. It's saying that these are Boolean. Boolean means true or false. And these are Boolean right here. And so it can't really do a count function on this. So it won't work. So let's see if we can change it. I got the formulas already prepared. That's why I'm oh. It's here. Control that. Now let's do it. There we go. So count A will allow you to do that on. So now you can see it. So let me go back. Hey, where is it? That's not it. Did I close it? God dang, I thought I had. Anyway, let me go back over here. Ah, there we go. I knew something was wrong. All right, so now you can see when I come back and click on this, you can see that it's 9 over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's counting all 9 of them. So the right formula can change all that, right? What if we want to count all the possible distinct values? Let's do it. We do that by saying the different possible values that are appearing in some. So let's click that. All right. So let's look at column 1, sample column 1. Sample column 1 is right here. You got 1 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you got 6 because this is up here twice. So it's 6. All right. So I just wanted you guys to kind of see what you could do with the count function. And that's pretty big. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's another one called calculate. I'm going to go over that a little bit, and we're going to play around with that one. All right? So that's already done. I put it right here. So this is called revenue last year. It's already, come on, right here. I already got it set up. Let's get rid of this whole table. This thing, man. Let's see, hold up. If I get rid of this. Okay. Nope. Back to report. Is something, hold on, let me get rid. This is in the way. That's what the problem was. All right. So right here, remove. Let's do this again, right? So we're going to bring a table out. And let's go with, is this? Yeah, that's it. Is I'm going to go with date. Right? And we got date in there. So date is in the table, right? But let's click on it. We want to change this date. We don't want date hierarchy. We want just the date. Bam, right? And we got our date. Now, a lot of times, if you want to change your data type with this, you click here, and you can just go up here and change the format, right? But we good right now, all right? So now, we got that. Let's add, revenue measure. Let's see, revenue. Let's see, revenue. So that's just regular revenue measure. Got that, right? And let's add revenue last year. And as you can see, this is blank. But let's go back and change this to last year. And come on, man. There we go. So now you can see what was going on as of that time last year. Now, let me show you something crazy about Power BI. This is a big deal to me. You guys might not see it like that. Like, what's the big deal? Because you're just not learning it. But I'm telling you, this ain't like this in SSRS. In SSRS, you got to go figure this up. Same period last year is a function that they have. So you got this one calculate, which we're going to get into tomorrow. But calculate is a function that does it'll go and do different things basically based on how you tell it, right? And so right now you give it an expression and then it tells you what to do, right? And that's how you get it. So the first one is, okay, let's take the revenue measure and go look up that same one based on that date from this time last year. And that's how smart it is. It knew to go do it, which is amazing, right? My back is killing me. But we're going to stop right here with this. I want y'all to understand tomorrow what we're going to do. We're going to finish playing with Calculate. Then I'm going to show y'all how to go into the cloud and deploy what you make. And that's it. I'm going to stop. This is actually abbreviated as far as Power BI. We could go way in and stretch it out for about another 3 weeks, but I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, right now, I just want you guys to understand, man, y'all pretty much, all y'all got to do now is just study, man. Y'all got everything y'all need. Just put the time in. Just like when I asked y'all earlier about Power BI, y'all was like, well, yeah, man, I just got to put the time in. And that's that, man. Roosevelt, I'm expecting Roosevelt Ford to be coming to me in about 2 weeks. Ain't that right, Roosevelt? About 2 weeks, I'm going to be hearing from Roosevelt. He's going to be ready to interview, right? Mr. Ford, you there?
That's right. That's right.
All right, then I'm gonna hold you to that. All right, so I'm gonna tell you guys like this, man. I want you guys to not all go in one night because I don't want to be up here interviewing for 3 hours if I can help it. I want interview night to be about an hour. I interview 2 people at a time sometimes, 2 or 3 people. I will do that. So, and I'll rotate and bounce around all 3 of y'all at the same time if you want. But I try to do SQL, and then all y'all got to do is SQL and SSRS, and y'all good to go. Y'all ready to go out there and look for a job. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to get into SSIS because that'll mess all y'all up pretty much. And we ain't trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? So Demir, I expect Demir to be coming real quick and doing
Yeah, for sure. I texted you. I'm going. June 14th is my D day.
All right, brother. I got you, Daywalker. I got you. And Rochelle, I expect her to be out here too. Sure, Rochelle gonna get it. If she don't, come to the review.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna say this too. So I usually do 2 nights. I could probably make it all one night and do like some review, like I do interviews, and then make it where we do review. Where if you guys got some stuff you study and you want to go try to kick the tires with me, you can. You got any questions or something like, hey, sub, I'm trying to do this and I'm getting an error. What am I doing wrong? So a lot of times on like review night, we can make it review/interview night. And that's Wednesday night, 8:00. I'm going to give y'all the link in the Facebook group. How many of y'all going to take the class starting Monday? Who better yet, who's not taking the class Monday? Well, okay. So who's not taking it?
I'm not
trying to interview pretty soon.
Who was that? Who was that said they not?
Oh, it was
Me.
Ryan.
Jamal.
Right, because what I don't want to do is unsubscribe everybody because a lot of y'all ain't gonna be able to get back in. But that's what I'm trying to see how to set it up. So I tell you what, I'm gonna go. I want y'all to go in the Facebook group. I'm gonna go live in the Facebook group in a minute. And if you unsubscribe, obviously I'm gonna just say, hey, let me know your email that you log in with, and I'll go in and turn it off after tomorrow. All right. So that you won't be, and it's other people too, but they not here, so I'm assuming they're not gonna be there. But that's about it. Anybody got any questions?
So you saying if we give you the email, that's people that are unsubscribed?
Yeah. Anybody that wants to unsubscribe, I'm gonna turn it off. Just give me your email. That way I can go in there and turn it off in the system.
Question. So we don't have access to the Facebook page no more.
No, well, no, you in the Facebook group. I'm not gonna, I will have to kick you out the group. You in there. You in the Facebook group. You're gonna have access to anything in the Facebook group as it pertains to studying. Guys, honestly, the same Facebook group, I'm gonna use it. You guys gonna be in there with the new students. So the new students coming in Monday, they gonna sign up with y'all.
Okay, so we're giving the email to unsubscribe from the website?
Yes, and that's so you and so I don't. It doesn't because it runs automatic, and so I just want to make sure everybody is out so they're not being charged.
However, we still get access to the self-help videos.
Yes, as long as you. But let me show you what you do. This is what y'all do. So everything that you got access to, save it. So all right, like for example, this right here. All you gotta do is come up here and take this here. Copy that, save that. Right? Then obviously the Facebook group, unless I kick you out the group, you good. And I'm not gonna kick you out the group. So y'all good on that, right? When it comes to self-study, obviously yours ain't gonna look like mine when you log in. But when you log in, hold on, it's sending me a link. Hold on, send it to my email. Give me 1 second. All right. So when y'all get like get in the come on, man, hurry up. When y'all get in here, not this, is this it? Hurry up, hurry up. It's taking forever. So when y'all get here, wait a minute, what y'all see? Hold on. There we go. So when y'all get here, not here, this is what y'all got. Y'all got this, right? Save this link. Save this link right here. That way you can get to all the courses, get to everything you need. You ain't got to worry about that because you can save Thinkific, LTV, Thinkific, and just use your login. So I'm not gonna kick nobody off. So everything that you guys need to study, SQL, SSIS, SSRS, you gonna keep lifetime. I don't unsubscribe people from this. I'm not an a-hole. Right? It ain't like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the group, I'm gonna put a post up here. It's gonna be a pinned statement, and it's basically gonna be where you guys can go to get everything y'all need for the new for the interviews. And if you got any questions, obviously call me 678-627-2796. Y'all got any questions, hit me up. I can answer your questions. For the most part, you guys should be able to see me once a week. I'm going to probably take a week or two to myself. I'm probably not going to do nothing. But after that, we do 2 weeks, whatever y'all need, you good. And you won't have no problem. This week, I'm going to be in D.C. with the blockchain people. So I'm definitely not going to be here next week. But the week after that, I'll be back. We can go ahead and talk. And if y'all want to go ahead and some of y'all ready to interview and try to go get a job, fine. Let me tell you something, man. Y'all really, truthfully, you could probably be ready within 2 weeks. Just about damn near all of y'all, if y'all bust y'all ass and study together. I've seen students do that in a study group, right? If y'all put your time together. Or if you're willing to put 4 and 5 hours in a day, you probably could. If you really put it in for 2 weeks, you might be able to come in and pass the SQL piece and get on up out there in 2 weeks, which would be great because that's June. That is perfect because that's the middle of the year. And that's when you guys are in a good position. If you want to come back, obviously you can come back. I don't know who's going to come back. I don't know how to – that part I'm kind of confused on. I guess I've never had it where I'm rerunning the same course starting over. And so now I'm trying to see how to do it. So I'm gonna have something. If you want to unsubscribe, let me put this. Hold on, let me just type it out.
So the next class starts next Monday?
Yeah, it started Monday night, 8:00. We're gonna start all the way from what's the select statement, go all the way through.
Oh, and how do you prefer like we reach you, like email or text or just call or shoot you a text?
Yeah, just call me, man. You can text me or call me. I'm real easy. I'm gonna put my number right here. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Just got any questions, call me. I can, I can be reached that way. Anything y'all, come on, man. Get rid of this. Any questions y'all need, you know what I'm saying? Just say, please notate if you want to unsubscribe for January session. So I need somebody to at least let me know that you want to unsubscribe because I don't know who wants to and who doesn't. And so certain people want to, certain people don't. I understand if you don't, just put your information in there. I ain't trying to keep nobody money. If it's a mishap, some misunderstanding, I damn sure, give your money back because I ain't trying to take nobody. That ain't what we here for. You know what I'm saying? We ain't here to try to get over. We trying to help people. So, get off that. All right.
When does the next class end?
It'll be about the same time, 3 to 4 months. But this time I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do this time. After talking to y'all and seeing what's going on with this class, we're gonna spend a little bit more time on SQL. You know why? Because that's the gatekeeper. And I feel like we went like about 5 weeks of SQL and we started jumping into SSRS. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna try to go about 7-8 weeks of just straight SQL. The people that are getting ready to interview, it'll be good for them because they gonna really be able to really understand it next time, and so they'll probably be the people that's gonna stay in. Obviously, it'll probably help them. But if not, if you already feel like you're comfortable enough, you just want to come interview. Hey, I'm here. I'm an open book, and that's that.
Is the schedule still the same?
No, this is gonna be different. This schedule, I'm gonna change this. So this is gonna be Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is Lima's old time. I'm gonna change that. That's not gonna work. It's gonna be Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern and Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's what it's gonna be. We just starting this Monday, but that's the only Monday we're gonna have class. And that's really just a quick introduction, about 45 minutes. That's all we're gonna do Monday. Tuesday, we're gonna have class.
Okay, so from 4 days a week to 3 days a week.
Well, yeah, we're not really doing 4. We're not doing 4. We just talking Monday, but technically it's gonna be the days we're gonna have class are gonna be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
No, we did have 3 days. No, that's correction. Okay. Are
Yeah.
we still getting the person to help us with the job interview? I mean, sending out our resume?
Yeah, that dude. I was talking. Somebody asked about that yesterday. I don't know if I want to work with him just because I don't think we got the results we wanted, and I don't think you guys need that. I just think we can put your name and information out into the ether. We can get your phone ringing. I can get your resume and all that together, and I can make your phone ring. There ain't no problem. And so he said, well, yeah, you're gonna get calls. I'm like, shoot, I know how to get calls. I've been doing this for years. I don't really necessarily need that. And I felt like it was what basically all he doing. He got a little call center with a bunch of Indian guys calling people. And for a certain X amount of thousands of dollars, he want me to pay him per month for one guy. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did last time. And me and my brother got in an argument about it because he swore by the guy. He just thought, and that's why I did it. But I really don't feel like that's probably the best. You don't need that. My students been getting jobs, and we ain't had that. And so we just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. And it ain't that many of y'all either. So it's not gonna be hard.
That's the thing too. I wanted to ask you 2 to 3 questions. Or once we pass the sequel, you're gonna question us, or there's like a SSRS interview we can do with
you got to know how to create an SSRS report. If you want to, I prefer that you don't do it all in one sitting. You probably want to prepare for one, then prepare for the other one the next week. It ain't gonna take that long for SSRS.
Yeah, I know. SSRS is not complicated if you know what you're doing with SQL. Because you said like, is the data sources like the database and the
Well,
columns
I
is
mean,
like the
if I
data set.
ask you, okay, tell me how to get 2 data sets inside of the
I said it's not
visualization.
complicated.
You know
I
what I'm
didn't
saying?
say
I
I
mean,
knew
that's a
everything.
question. I might ask you that. Somebody might say, okay, how do you get 2 data sets inside of a visualization, like a table, right? That's the lookup function. So
Yeah.
you gotta know that stuff because I might hit you like that. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying with SSRS is definitely, it's not as hard as people might think it is. SSRS is the one that's just like, okay, you don't be cutting your
Yeah, yeah,
teeth with
yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
SSIS to put, yeah, that puts foot to you know what. I mean, SSI is pretty
Yeah.
hard. I mean, compared
But
to the rest of the stuff we talked. That's why I got rid of it.
I know you're gonna ask us in the interview, be like, okay, if you ask, okay, what is DDL, and you be like, okay, how would you filter out? Or if you ask us, okay, what's the where clause, right? And be like, okay, how would you use it, right? That's what you can ask. So something similar to that effect. You're gonna be like, how would you implement that, right, in the database? It's not just gonna be off of what is what, like a definition. You're gonna ask us, how would you use it, right?
I ain't gonna tell you how I'm gonna do it. Just know your stuff. I ain't gonna tell you
Gotcha.
nothing. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm just
Fair
gonna
enough.
be out here, man. You can be like, man, what's up with this dude? You know. But yeah.
Okay, question. So I know that you said you was going to add something new. What was that again?
I'm
Python.
sorry.
Okay.
I think it's
And
Say again?
it was the Python. That was correct. Okay. And I had said 4, but I remember that was the study group. So we did have only 3 days. Are we gonna have like a built-in study group time?
Well, the study group time, it's on you guys. I can't. That's not on me. I ain't in real. I can. That's on y'all, man. Whenever y'all ready, you know. Demir yesterday said he do. Monday he was saying he do all the time. He had meet 5 days a week. So I mean, if you guys want
yeah.
to really
I did one
study like
today
that,
too. Yeah, I
that's what I'm
do.
saying. So put
I
them
try to do
2 hours
1 hour a
in.
day.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Demir, you should be ready, bro. You've been putting a lot of time in. You should be ready to interview first week. You should.
Yeah.
So I mean, once you know what you're talking about, you can go ahead and jump on out there when I can help you with your resume.
Right
That's it.
now, what I'm doing actually, like when I'm at work on my downtime, I'm trying actually between now and June, I'm trying to push through and finish your SSRS. I'm trying to like get that down pack. SQL is not too hard. It's just about, for me, it's more so like coding is probably gonna be my issue. But I mean, I already have like the templates, like how you have the flashcards. I already have like the cheat sheets laminated and all that good stuff. So I would know what to do. You know, sometimes I might miss a, like if they ask you for the filter out data and it's like, okay, we use the where clause, I might miss the apostrophe. If it asks me for names that start with an M, I might miss an apostrophe every now and then. But other than that, like I should be good with that. But I'm working on SSRS right now.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, man. Anybody that wants to unsubscribe, just go ahead and go in the group. Go ahead and say it. Just type your email under there. I go in there and turn it off. It's no problem. This is the first time it's ever been like this. If it's a problem and somebody ain't never been to class and they got charged, I'm gonna give them all their money. But I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to keep going, you're more than welcome to do that. We're gonna be starting class Tuesday night. It's gonna be good. Me and probably Marvin's probably gonna be in Birmingham with me. I mean, I'm in DC. I'll be in DC Tuesday night with the blockchain conference. And so we're gonna be up there really getting into it, man. Learning. I'm trying to make some connections so I can get you guys some jobs at these companies. That's what I'm trying to do. So anyway,
Also,
go ahead.
I just want to add this one thing for anybody out. I try to put out the Zoom link early in the morning, sometimes 3 hours, 4 hours before. I usually start between 6 and 6:30, and I do it 4 to 5 times a week. You just got to check the Facebook group. The link is going to be there. It's not long and drawn out. Half the time, we just go over definitions. And then the other half, we go over coding and we do a
You're
quiz.
gonna have
That's
new
about it.
people in there. You're gonna have new people in there. You probably gonna find yourself tutoring, which will be good because it'll make you a lot better. It will.
Yeah.
Once you people coming in there after about 2 weeks of class asking questions, and then you can point them in the
Yeah,
right
iron
direction.
sharpens iron, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's actually what helped me become a better developer, was training y'all. Going back and explaining SSIS. I really wasn't that good at SSIS. And I got better at SSIS because I had to explain everything. I had to explain packages. Now I can do it with my eyes closed. I can sit there and just say, somebody asked me to do something. I say, okay, if I had to do that, I'll do an execute SQL task. I can talk through it now because I've done it. And I built it out, and I built those videos that you guys see in the Thinkific course. Save all the links, man. And if you guys, if you unsubscribe, save all the links. And hey, man, and when it come time for your resume, I ain't charging for that. I ain't charging for consultation when you take an interview and record it and want to review it. I might even give you the link, let you do it in front of class. Don't be shy. We ain't trying to beat nobody down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody go down in flames. It's part of it. You got to have a good attitude about it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, guys, what they going to do? Tell you no? You ain't working that no way. What they going to do? At the end of the day, if they fire you, they already done screwed up. They done paid you $15,000 before they let you go. Some of y'all out there ain't no money. That's, it depends. You know what I'm saying? So if you making $30,000 a year and somebody come give you 120, and you work there for 3 months and then get let go, you still way ahead because you got a year's salary in 3 months, technically. Anyway, guys.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. All right?
Thank you.
All right, God bless.
Thanks, up. Good
You
night.
too.
All right.
Thanks.